Some parks are abandoned for a reason, haunted by lost souls and lingering spirits. These 15 amusement parks around the world are the perfect blend of eerie tales and chilling history, each with a dark, mysterious past. 1. Gulliver's Kingdom, Temple Walk, Matlock Bath, UK. The air around Gulliver's Kingdom always feels unnaturally still, as if the ghosts of its past visitors linger, waiting to tell their stories. Situated in the quiet village of Matlock Bath, this park, with its giant statues of Gulliver, once seemed like a whimsical wonderland for children. But over the years, as the park fell into disrepair, it became a hotbed of supernatural activity. Visitors who dare to venture into the park today often report hearing strange whispers in the wind, as if the statues of Gulliver themselves are murmuring. Some claim that, in the dead of night, the giant figures move ever so slightly, their eyes following intruders. A chilling sensation fills the air, and many feel an overwhelming sense of being watched. For some, the experience is so disturbing that they flee before the sun sets. Even the locals have tales of strange happenings. A few years ago, a group of teenagers snuck into the park, only to come running out in a frenzy, claiming they saw the figure of a woman in a white dress standing by the broken carousel. No one ever saw her face, but her presence was undeniable. The woman, they say, was an employee who died tragically in an accident years ago. 2. Six Flags, New Orleans, USA. The eerie silence that envelops Six Flags New Orleans is deafening. Once a thriving theme park, it now lies in ruins, abandoned after the devastation of Hurricane Katrina. The park's ghostly atmosphere has become notorious among urban explorers and thrill-seekers alike. The twisted remnants of the roller coasters stand like skeletal remains, while the rusted Ferris wheel creaks in the wind, though no one is around to ride it. Urban legends abound, particularly surrounding the haunted train ride that once carried visitors around the park. Many have reported hearing the faint sounds of a train whistle at night, though the tracks have long been overgrown with weeds. Some say that the souls of the passengers who never returned after the storm still ride the ghost train, doomed to circle the park forever. But the most disturbing story comes from an old carnival worker who claimed that during his late-night shifts, he would hear voices calling his name from the empty park. When he turned to look, no one was there. His reports, however, became increasingly erratic, and after one particularly strange night, he vanished. To this day, no one knows what happened to him. 3. Spreepark, Berlin, Germany. Spreepark in Berlin is a place that seems to hold its secrets tightly within its decaying walls. The park, which once hosted tens of thousands of visitors, is now a ghostly shadow of its former self, with abandoned rides and faded signs telling of better times. The haunting here is not just from the park's eerie appearance, it's the stories of the people who once loved it. Many claim that the Ferris wheel, towering above the abandoned grounds, is the epicenter of the paranormal activity. Witnesses report seeing figures at the top, though no one has been up there in years. At night, the sound of a single creaking chair on the Ferris wheel can be heard, as if someone or something is still riding it. Perhaps the most spine-chilling tale comes from a group of explorers who visited the park late one night. They reported seeing a figure in a long, tattered coat, walking between the rides as though searching for something or someone. When they tried to approach, the figure vanished into thin air, leaving only an unnerving cold breeze in its wake. 4. Atlantis Marine Park, Australia. Atlantis Marine Park, now a forgotten relic, once drew families from across Australia to witness its marine life exhibits and amusement rides. But when it closed down in the early 1990s, something dark seemed to linger behind. Those who have visited this haunted park claim that the spirits of the animals who once lived here have never left. On quiet evenings, the air grows thick with the smell of salt water and decay, and strange noises emanate from the empty tanks. Some say that if you stand still long enough, you can hear the faint sound of dolphins calling out, though the waters are silent now. Others report feeling as if something invisible brushes against their skin, as if they were being touched by the long-gone sea creatures. The most unsettling part of the park is the old carousel, which, despite being abandoned for decades, occasionally starts turning on its own. Those brave enough to watch from a distance report seeing the silhouettes of ghostly figures riding the carousel, their faces obscured by shadows. 5. Pripyat Amusement Park, Ukraine. In the shadow of the Chernobyl disaster lies the infamous Pripyat Amusement Park. Built just days before the catastrophic meltdown, the park never had a chance to open to the public. But its legacy, much like the town of Pripyat itself, remains frozen in time. The rides, some still eerily intact, stand as haunting monuments to a disaster that changed the world. It's said that on quiet nights, the whirring of the Ferris wheel can still be heard, though no one is there to turn it. Visitors have reported feeling the ghostly presence of children who once dreamed of riding the attractions. Many believe that the spirits of those who perished in the radiation disaster still linger in the park, their innocent laughter replaced with a hollow silence. One particularly disturbing tale is that of a photographer who visited the park years ago. He claimed to have seen the shadowy figures of children playing near the carousel, their movements jerky and unnatural. When he snapped a photo, the camera malfunctioned, and the images developed, showing twisted, distorted faces in the background, watching him. 6. Nara Dreamland, Japan. Nara Dreamland was Japan's answer to Disneyland, but after its closure in 2006, it became a haven for ghost hunters and thrill seekers alike. The park, which once echoed with the laughter of children, now stands as a decaying ruin, its brightly colored buildings fading into the landscape. One of the most common reports from those who explore the abandoned grounds is hearing the faint sounds of music and laughter drifting through the air, though no one is there to make the noise. In the middle of the night, the lights of the park sometimes flicker on and off, casting long shadows across the broken rides. Urban legends tell of a woman in a white dress who wanders the old park. She is said to be the spirit of a woman who died tragically on one of the rides. Visitors who encounter her describe her as eerily calm, with hollow eyes that seem to follow them wherever they go. 7. Chippewa Lake Amusement Park, USA. Chippewa Lake Amusement Park in Ohio closed its doors for the final time in the 1970s, but the remnants of its past continue to haunt the area. The park's old carousel, once a favorite attraction, is said to be the focal point of its haunting. Visitors have reported seeing the carousel lights flicker on by themselves in the dead of night. Local legend has it that a young girl died in a tragic accident on one of the rides years ago. Since then, her spirit is said to wander the park, calling out for help. Many have felt a sudden chill or heard the faint sound of a child crying when they venture near the carousel, but when they turn to look, no one is there. The most chilling tale comes from a group of teenagers who visited the park in the early 2000s. They claimed to have seen a young girl in a tattered dress standing in front of the carousel. When they approached, she vanished into the fog, leaving only the echo of her laughter behind. 8. Dadipark, But when it closed its gates for good in 2002, it became the subject of chilling legends. The park, long abandoned, now stands as a ghostly reminder of days gone by. People who venture inside report a heavy, oppressive feeling hanging in the air, as if the park itself is holding its breath. A sense of foreboding fills the atmosphere. One of the eeriest aspects of Dadipark is the haunting presence near the park's central fountain. On certain nights, visitors claim to hear the sound of children laughing, though no one is around. Many believe that the spirits of those children who once played here have never left, bound to the place by some unfinished business. The most unsettling of all is the story of a visitor who explored the park at night and, upon standing near the fountain, felt something brush past her, though no one was there. She turned to see a shadowy figure standing by the fountain, staring at her with hollow eyes. In a panic, she ran, but the figure seemed to follow her, always just out of sight. 9. Williams Grove Amusement Park, USA. In the quiet hills of Pennsylvania stands Williams Grove Amusement Park, a place once known for its family-friendly atmosphere. Today, it sits empty, and the air surrounding it is thick with an unsettling energy. Stories abound of strange occurrences in the park, most notably near the old wooden carousel, where many claim to have seen figures from another time. One haunting tale involves an old man who used to work at the park. He was said to be a familiar sight, always walking near the carousel, helping guests onto the ride. One fateful night, he died suddenly of a heart attack. Now, visitors claim to see his figure standing near the carousel, watching over it as though he's still guiding the children. The old man's ghost is said to have a kind expression, yet there is a deep sorrow in his eyes. The most disturbing incident occurred when a group of teens ventured into the park at night. They reported hearing footsteps behind them, only to find no one there. The footsteps, they said, grew louder, closer, until they bolted in fear. When they returned to their car, they found an old ticket stub on the windshield, a reminder of a time long past but never forgotten. 10. Boblo Island, USA. On the shores of the Detroit River lies Boblo Island, a once thriving amusement park that now sits in ruins. The island was once filled with families enjoying roller coasters and boat rides. But after the park closed in the 1990s, the place became an eerie shell of its former self. Those who dare to visit report a chilling, unnatural stillness in the air. One of the most famous legends surrounding Boblo Island is the tale of a young couple who went missing while visiting the park. It is said that the two disappeared without a trace, leaving only a cryptic note behind. Over the years, numerous visitors have reported hearing the sound of faint whispers coming from the island's decrepit buildings. Some even claim to have seen shadowy figures walking along the shores. In the dead of night, it's not uncommon for those exploring the island to hear footsteps trailing behind them, only to turn and find no one there. One particularly unsettling tale involves a lone adventurer who ventured into the island's abandoned buildings. He swore he saw two figures, one dressed in vintage clothing and the other in a military uniform, walking through the ruins. When he approached them, they vanished into the darkness. 11. Crinkley Bottom Theme Park, UK. Located in the heart of England, Crinkley Bottom Theme Park once promised joy and entertainment, yet it quickly became notorious for its bizarre and unsettling reputation. The park, which closed in the early 1990s, now sits in ruins, a forgotten place where only the brave or the foolish dare to visit. The rumors of its haunted past only add to its eerie allure. The most persistent tale from Crinkley Bottom concerns a creepy, oversized puppet that once entertained children. Known as Mr. Blobby, the character quickly gained a reputation for being more unnerving than funny. Some claim that Mr. Blobby's eerie, exaggerated smile still appears in the park's dilapidated buildings, with its eyes following anyone who dares to look. But what's most chilling is the sound. Some visitors have reported hearing the faint sound of the puppet's voice echoing across the park, calling their names. One particularly disturbing encounter involved a group of teens who visited the park after dark. They reported hearing the puppet's laugh reverberating from an abandoned building. When they investigated, they found nothing but darkness. However, one of the group felt something cold brush past them. An unseen hand, perhaps? 12. River Country Waterpark, Walt Disney World Resort, Florida, USA. River Country, the first water park at Walt Disney World, was once a popular destination, but it closed in 2001 and has been left to decay ever since. Despite being abandoned for years, there are eerie reports that the park is far from empty. People who have dared to enter at night speak of an unsettling presence, as if the park itself has memories it cannot forget. What's most unnerving about River Country is the old swimming hole where visitors used to cool off. Now, the waters are stagnant, and many claim that the spirits of those who enjoyed the park's water rides still linger. Some say they've seen shadowy figures splashing in the water, though no one is there. The most chilling reports come from those who camped near the park and heard the sound of children laughing and playing, despite the park being completely dark and silent. There is also the legend of a lifeguard who died in a tragic accident during the park's final years. It's said that his spirit haunts the old lifeguard towers, appearing to warn those who venture too close. One night, a group of explorers entered the park and reported seeing a figure in a lifeguard uniform standing motionless on the tower. When they tried to approach, the figure disappeared into thin air. 13. The Catskills Game Farm, USA. In the heart of New York, the Catskills Game Farm once housed exotic animals and attracted families eager to see wildlife up close. However, after the park closed its doors in 2006, it quickly became a haven for those seeking a glimpse of the supernatural. Over the years, numerous reports of paranormal activity have surfaced, particularly in the old animal enclosures. Many claim that the spirits of the animals who lived and died at the game farm never left. Some visitors have reported seeing figures darting through the old animal enclosures, and others say they hear the faint sounds of growls and roars echoing from the empty cages. The park's isolation adds to the atmosphere, leaving anyone who dares to explore with a sense of unease. One particularly disturbing account involves a man who was walking through the park late one evening. As he passed the tiger enclosure, he swore he saw the eyes of the tigers glaring at him through the bars. But when he turned to look again, the animals were gone. The man quickly fled, but to this day, he swears he was watched by the ghosts of the animals that once lived there. 14. Virginia Renaissance Fair, USA. The Virginia Renaissance Fair was once a lively event, drawing visitors from far and wide to experience medieval life. However, after a series of mysterious incidents, it closed down, leaving only its haunted remnants behind. Today, people still visit the site, hoping to catch a glimpse of the eerie happenings that have plagued the area for years. There are numerous reports of strange, spectral figures roaming the grounds. Some claim to have seen knights in shining armor, while others report encountering ladies in long, flowing gowns gliding silently through the woods. But perhaps the most chilling encounter was that of a visitor who felt a hand placed firmly on his shoulder as he walked through the fairground. When he turned to confront the person, no one was there. The most disturbing tale involves a musician who once played at the fair. It's said that after his death, his ghost would appear late at night, playing a haunting melody on his flute. Those who've heard it claim that the music has a strange effect, leaving them with an overwhelming sense of dread and sorrow. 15. Taman Festival Bali, Indonesia. Taman Festival Bali, once an amusement park filled with vibrant attractions, has long since closed its doors. But in its place remains a haunting reminder of its past, an empty park filled with the ghosts of those who once enjoyed it. Located in the heart of Bali, the park has become notorious for its supernatural activity. It's said that during the park's final days, several workers died under mysterious circumstances. Some believe their spirits have never left the grounds. Visitors to Taman Festival have reported hearing whispers in the wind, voices that seem to come from nowhere. The most chilling reports are from those who wander near the old haunted houses. Many say they've seen shadowy figures move past the windows, though no one is inside. Perhaps the most unsettling encounter involves a photographer who visited the park in search of eerie shots. He reported seeing a figure in a tattered costume walking toward him from across the park. When he tried to approach, the figure disappeared into the fog. What was once a place of joy had now become a terrifying reminder of the unknown. If these chilling tales of haunted amusement parks sent shivers down your spine, don't forget to like, share, and drop a comment below. Ever visited a haunted place yourself? Share your spooky encounters with us at Creepy Experience. We can't wait to hear your stories.